And welcome back to another episode of Loss of Down, brought to you by Abby Turner Creative, your one-stop shop marketing agency specializing in branding, high-end photography, fashion, and more. Especially if you're our age, where it feels like there's a wedding, baby pictures, college graduations, engagements. You name it, they're happening. Abby Turner Creative is the only way to go. Check her out for yourself at abbyturnerphoto.com. That's Abby at ABBEY, or on her Instagram, Sawdad and Sapphire. Again, Abby Turner Creative. AbbyTurnerPhoto.com. Boys, back-to-back weeks. Who the hell are we? But we're back. Training camp is starting. It's starting to heat up, mostly because I left my AC off. But how the hell are we, gentlemen?
Happy training camp week to both of you. We're officially, it's that time of year. Football is back every time anything happens. But football is back. But before it is back, you can see I'm wearing my orange Denny Hamlin shirt.
Whoa, that's new.
Win number 50. I put up 10 fingers. I don't know why. I should have done that. But 50 for Denny Hamlin this last weekend at Pocono. People are saying he drove like a dickhead. I don't care. I'm celebrating. That was great. I've got a lot of stuff to talk about wedding-wise, but before I do that, I want to throw it to you guys real quick. David and Steven, late July. We are 7 Mondays, or I guess 6 now, counting today, away from the NFL. We are that close. I hope you guys are doing great.
Wally, I want you to know that, statistically speaking, that means that your boy has made 12,500 left turns on average in his career wins.
You're absolutely right. Hey, what happens
don't
if
ask
it's a
him to
road
turn
course?
right.
If it's a road course, what do you feel now? Bet you feel like an idiot.
Why? Because he hasn't won there?
Because they have to turn right at road courses. How dumb do you feel?
Has he won one?
Yeah, he's
Has
won
he
one.
won one?
Of course he has. So just subtract, I don't know.
Bring the proof.
A couple hundred
My
laps
guy's
off.
ambidextrous. I love it. Amphibious,
Yeah.
sorry.
He is amphibious. Thank you, Stephen, for getting it correctly.
I'm sorry, what?
He's not
Yeah.
ambidextrous. He's amphibious.
Yeah, when
People wouldn't understand it.
When people don't understand what ambidextrous is, they always just opt in for amphibious, and then
Okay,
leave it
I'm glad
way
this
off.
is an inside joke. I was really concerned I'd have to leave the
Dude,
podcast after
Not an
that.
inside joke. It's called Twitter. Sorry, it's called X.
Speaking of amphibians, I had a weird moment, David, this weekend. My brother's wedding. I have to get. Well, first of all, shout out to Luke Shinsky's amazing weekend. My brother and his wife was an awesome time. Also had the worst hangover of my life leading into it, but we will get to that. What I was going to bring up is that... Shit, what was I just going to bring up? I'm losing it already, guys. Oh, my God.
Wedding.
No, David, what did you just say? No, amphibian. Jesus. Guys, we're back. We're back. We're doing great. Long weekend. The guy next door
Sounds hot.
to my brother has 20 snakes in his house. And I bring that up because David, like myself, is a wise man. And we are petrified of anything that doesn't have arms, as you should be. Who on earth? A great guy, by the way. Great guy. But who on earth has 20 snakes in their own home?
Not me. That
Psychopaths.
that dude's ready to die. You've ever heard the horror stories of, you have people, snake owners that will let their snake roam, and there's always these horror stories of, oh yeah, the snake would come and sleep in bed with me, and all of a sudden I noticed the snake getting a lot bigger and bigger, and all of a sudden you come to find out that the snake was actually laying next to you and getting bigger so it can ingest you. You're not their owner. You are food to them. So no.
Reptiles don't think like mammals. They're not like us.
No, they're worse.
Period.
They're more demonic.
They're instinctive creatures. They do what they are supposed to do, and that is eat and then find their next meal to eat again.
Yeah, no, that's a huge no for me, dog.
Here's the thing, man. I have a love-hate with snake people. If you love snakes, then be a, Wally, what are the people who specialize in snakes called?
Morons.
Well, yeah, but there's a real term for it.
I don't know. Steve
It's
Irwin.
like a herp, I don't know. It's herp and...
Anti-leg guy. That's basically where you're
anyways, if you love snakes and you're not one of the people who specializes in breeds and goes and catches them when people have them in their house, I'm out on you. You're a psychopath. But if you're going to help society and you're going to remove those rattlesnakes and those fucking corn snakes from toilets and fucking pantries and garages, I'm in. You're a value to society. Or if you're one of those psychopath Florida guys who just like jumps in the swamp and wrangles a python, you're a psychopath, but I'm in because you're helping remove those things from the wild.
They're paying people in Florida to essentially kill them because they are, what was it? Like it wasn't an
They're an exotic species.
It was like
they take over.
Yeah, it was like a boa, but they were unreleased and they're not natural in Florida. So they're released in the swamps, end up mating with the ones that are local, and now they're coming out with this ridiculous breed, and now they're paying people to go out and kill them. But no, you were right. Herpetologist is what it's called. That was my nickname.
Oh God, I was gonna guess. I knew it was herpa something, but I couldn't.
It's funny because I typed in snake. I googled snake doctor, which I as soon as I typed it in, I realized
that's called a veterinarian.
You know,
yes,
that would be what you would think. But it says, do you know what a snake doctor? Mosquito hawk. That's what they're like nicknamed, I guess. Mosquito hawks. I don't know why.
I think you're looking up some like Native American shit.
Maybe I am.
Very
is
progressive
that any
of you.
less? I was going to say, is that any less validating?
A mosquito hawk is called a dragonfly. That's what comes up with Google.
So yes,
That's what I have. Or devil's darning needle. I don't know what that means.
sounds like a snake's penis.
Okay, now I'm starting to think it is Native American.
Snake doctor, noun, dragonfly. You're definitely in some kind of Native American website.
All right, fair enough.
So Wally, how was your brother's wedding?
It was great. It was great. The women in the Lukashinsky family, beautiful as always. Dad killed the speech. Brother held it together, didn't get blitzed like I expected him to, and I didn't make a complete ass of myself. So it was a great time. Here's the kicker. On Thursday, we had our bachelor party for my brother, which now that I'm like 30 years old, I'm starting to see why people don't do it 2 days before the wedding. I was texting David and the Northeast Ohio buddies of mine at like 2 o'clock pleading for help because I had been 36 hours hungover and it was hardly any better than it had been the first night. It took hitting a couple pink Whitney nips and getting lucky enough that my body gave me 24 hours of like borrowed happiness from the day after that I was able to survive, have a good time. Amazing time though. Awesome. Small little wedding. My brother's now in Put-in Bay of all places for his honeymoon, and good for him. He's going to be blitzed for the next few days, him and the lovely bride, and everything's great. Loyal listener too. So got to represent that.
So, what hangover cure worked for you? Any of them?
Do they?
All right, so I can't tell you how many, even beyond those texts, rubbing alcohol. If you smell rubbing alcohol, it sounds awful.
What
No.
percent?
No. You smell rubbing alcohol? I think that would make me throw up immediately.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing, but at that point, you know, when you feel bad enough, you're like, if I throw up, maybe I feel better anyways.
What's the worst? I feel just the same.
Exactly. So I'm like, I'm willing to do anything.
What percent of rubbing
settled
alcohol?
my stomach. Well, I mean, I don't know who these people are, but they had this literal like bottle of rubbing alcohol, not Purell.
Yeah, what do you think they
not
sell
anything like
rubbing
that.
alcohol in, like fucking bags of milk like in Canada?
I thought I was going to be smelling Purell when she told me. But either way,
Wish you were at that point.
you start sniffing that thing, though, it settled the nerves, settled the stomach is dying juices, and it helped me get through. But yeah, that and, you know, as always, hair of the dog.
That's a hell of a hair of a dog. He's psycho.
Dude, it was tough.
I really need the percentage. I feel like you're not taking that part serious because there is high levels of rubbing alcohol, and like I get the 90% and whole because I don't know. My mom taught me this: rubbing alcohol in a cotton ball, run it over your face like every now and again. Oh my god, cleans that shit right up, dries it out. All the dirt and shit you see after it. Oh, it's foul, but.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't sound like it'd be enjoyable.
I sniff gasoline, but rubbing
Like
alcohol...
Greeks and Windex, baby. Rubbing alcohol cures all.
Yep.
I'm starting to believe it, though. Because, I mean, yeah, like, it was a great time, and I was survived because of all the million tips I got out there. I mean, you guys probably noticed I was dead to the world. My phone basically wasn't in my hands for 3 days. So I just was like, all right, I got to just fight through this weekend. And today's the first day I can tell you I feel 100% since last
Was
Wednesday.
that before or after you spent all day painting the basement?
Oh, see, that was actually a blessing because I just told you it was freezing cold in my basement.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's almost dark. I almost have like a coal miner's like headlight on while I'm painting because I'm like, I want this to be damp, cold, and dark down here. But, you know, I'm doing good. Again, I know I ramble. It's what I do. David, Steven, I hope you're doing well. David, I know you have your own stuff going on in your world this week, too.
Oh yeah, my parents are getting their house renovated for the next 6 to 8 months, so they're going to be living with me over that time, and they moved in.
I didn't
this
know it was
weekend.
that long. I thought it was like a weekend.
That was not the timetable I was expecting to come after I heard
Me
6 to
neither.
8.
That well, they're doing like everything, so that's the timetable.
Good for
that
them
I
and
think
good
it's
for
gonna
you.
be. Yeah, but yeah, so that was it's been an adventurous weekend, but everything's pretty good so far.
My God.
Man.
6 to 8 months.
So have you
That's
bossed
a fun house.
So have you bossed your
Fun
parents
house.
around yet? Be like, when you're in my house, you're gonna do this.
Not a chance.
Okay.
Not a chance. This weekend was just like learning, feeling it out.
Yeah, it's like that first, show of like Survivor. It's just like trying to figure out if you're able to, maybe I can't throw my towel on the ground over here anymore. Maybe, you know, it's just, it's a little weird.
So I mean, I feel like this is such an easy question. Like, how easily aggravated are you by your parents? Because like it takes maybe 2 sentences, and I'm ready to pop my mom's head off.
Depends on the timing of the day. If I just got home from work, it's pretty easy. Like if I haven't come down yet, really easy. If I'm like steady, if it's like a Saturday and I'm just calm, cool, and collected, it takes a lot.
Wait, weren't you just on vacation with them too?
Yeah.
All right,
With my
over
mom,
under
not my
a
dad.
week and a half. That day we're gonna get the David text and be like, oh my god, I got another half year of this.
It's just going to be a text because I can't say it out loud.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Use this as your venting, if you would ever need such a thing. Wink.
I mean, I will say.
Blink twice if you need help.
David, bark twice if you're in Milwaukee.
See, I don't know. I feel like I'm the other way when I'm around my parents. I think I annoy them, but David has a more normal human being personality, which I admire. So
Yeah, couldn't be me.
I guess
Kudos
maybe,
to you.
Yeah, maybe.
No, it goes both ways here. Don't feel bad, Wally. It's a both two-way street.
Okay, good. Well, I figure, yeah, you come home and you're like, let me tell you about this colonial house and how the AC works in it. Maybe they're like, who the hell is this kid? That's not my son. That's a 78-year-old man.
Yeah, as J. Cole once said, anybody's a killer. All you got to do is push them to the limits. And parents know how to push you to the limits.
That's an all-time quote, by the way. That's an all-time quote.
It's like Norm Macdonald said. I mean, I'm not a killer, but if you live long enough, I mean, come on, anybody.
It can happen at any point, any time.
Steven, so I'm going to throw us into this just because you know, any WWE fans out there, there's a thing called a handicap match.
Emphasize
Where
the
it is-
handicap portion of this.
That's true too, but we'll let you decide on that. But the 2-on-1 aspect, it feels like this is going to be a trend in the next few weeks. You guys are going to notice this next week. Also, fun interview coming. But state of the NFL running back is the way I wanted to start this, almost like a State of the Union, because if you're a football fan, I know that you have seen over the last several weeks, the NFL running backs are disgusted with the way they are paid. They are unifying, they're doing group text, they're doing group complaining segments, they're doing whatever they want to do, but at the end of the day, they're still not getting paid right now the way they believe they should be paid. So David and I are one way, as you would probably imagine. Steven's the other. Steven, I want to open it up actually with you. I know that you think that it's unfair that the running backs aren't paid more money. But what is your solution to it?
No, and well, at the same time, I'm also kind of piggybacking off yours a little bit, so I'll kind of shine the light on what you have. But I want to set the record straight, right? I think that there's this top 3, 5 to 7 that I think that should get paid, just like really any other positional group, except there's going to be a larger gap in between this. Now, I don't think everybody should be getting CMC, Kamara deals that we were getting a couple years ago, right? That's just unrealistic, and that's not. No one's going to pay that now, right? But what I'm definitely looking for is some of these guys getting paid that 8 to 12 range. It's not a large percentage of the cap. And I get it that these players are easily expendable. They can be replaced very easily. And I get that. I'm not looking for every single running back to get those fat deals. But at the same time, one of my big arguments on this is the Saquon and Josh Jacobs is really good. We're a mil or two off to getting Saquon paid, and that guaranteed money is looking about 22 mil. So maybe that's 7 point something over the next 3 years. That's not a lot of money. But for Saquon and offenses that need him to be ran through or need the offense to be ran through, someone like him or a Josh Jacobs, I think that these types of players need to get paid. If you look at the other side, my argument with those specific players getting paid, look who they're paying at quarterback. Well, quarterback's a big market. I totally get that. These quarterbacks would be nothing without having these two on their team, if that's Jimmy G and Danny Jones. They're getting paid anywhere 3 times as much as these running backs, and I get it. But Danny Dimes without Saquon is a nightmare. We all know that. It's not like he took a turn for the greater this year. It just so happened that Danny Jones had his best year when Saquon was on the field the entire time and the offense was primarily going through him. And then we have Jimmy G. He's made his whole career being a quarterback that can hand the ball off. You can't tell me running backs aren't important in there. San Fran is a horrible example because they have that carousel of running backs that they can always get. But look at what CMC did right when he came. He has been that step above, a couple steps above than any of the other running backs that they've had there in San Fran.
What did it matter though?
Why? Because they lost.
Because they got to the same fucking place they did with Jeff Wilson and fucking whomever else at running back.
Okay, who's their quarterback for 3/4 of that game? Get the fuck out of here.
But that's the point. That's the point you're making. That's why they're getting paid. That's the point.
My point is that they should be
running backs.
They should be getting
are not valuable.
They are valuable. But when you become that extremely one-dimensional, when you know that you physically can't throw the ball. Oh yeah, sorry. Josh Johnson went out of that game, and they brought in Brock Purdy, where everyone in that fucking stadium knew he couldn't throw the ball. So now they're invaluable because they know that they're going to hand the ball off. I think that's a dumb side of the argument. I understand that they're invaluable.
Shanahan offense.
No. Shanahan offense is another. Shanahan offense is another difference.
Talk about it. This is the easiest problem in the history of problems. It is economics, supply and demand. As the NFL has evolved, offenses evolved into zone blocking schemes because it allows them to have a prolific offensive playbook, and it allows them to do it by not having an unbelievable offensive lineman and unbelievable running backs. And i.e., Kevin Stefanski, sure, the Browns have a great offensive line, but did you know who Wyatt Teller was before he entered the zone blocking scheme of Cleveland? I sure didn't. We thought he was like a 5th round, Bills backup offensive lineman, and suddenly he's the 3rd best rated guard in the league, or 2nd best behind Joel Bitonio, who I think is a stud. And you've got Jedrick Wills, who wasn't even on the field all of last season and was replaced. And sure, you felt it a little bit, but they did just fine without him. And you get these zone blocking schemes, you get more prolific passing offenses, and you see that running backs can be successful no matter their talent level. Like, i.e., who we had just mentioned, like Jeff Wilson or any of the other 7 running backs that Shanahan has turned into like 1,000-yard rushers and prolific rushers over his time there. And, sure, we can say it's Kyle Shanahan and it is what it is. He's, the best coach in the NFL, whatever you want to call him, right? But it's not just that team. It's Mike McDaniels with, Miles, and now he just got Jeff Wilson, and, all their long list of running backs in Miami, and soon to be, hopefully, Dalvin Cook, whomever. But, there's a long list of coaches who run zone blocking who have prolific runners no matter the running back. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter who's in there. They do well. And to give you an idea, of just how prolific in the NFL it is, let's rewind to COVID year, right? I'm going to give you 3 examples of running backs. Christian McCaffrey in 2020, who was the highest paid running back in the NFL, went down with an ankle sprain in week 2. In his absence, the Panthers turned to journeyman Mike Davis, a former 4th-round draft pick on his 4th NFL team, who averaged 28 yards combined through 49 games of his career, came in, and he went 3 straight games, 3 straight wins for the team, 3 straight games averaging 117 total combined yards from scrimmage, which, by the way, was 4 more yards than Christian McCaffrey for the year.
And then what? Then how much did Mike Davis average outside of those 3 games?
That's the point.
No, it's not.
He went but he went.
So we can replace him with
No, he did that the rest of the season until McCaffrey came back.
He
averaged.
went down.
Yes, he did.
After
he
those,
went slightly downhill. You got 80% of the production back. Again in 2020, by the way, before the season even started, the Jacksonville Jaguars cut ties with first-round pick Leonard Fournette, and they replaced him with James Robinson, who was an All-Pro, an undrafted rookie All-Pro in his rookie season, and the Jacksonville Jaguars then move on from him for another running back that they drafted.
David, let me interrupt you for a second, just so you can catch your breath. This is D'Angelo Williams replaced Le'Veon Bell the year that Le'Veon Bell tore his ACL pretty early in the year. And I know that's a recognizable name, but D'Angelo Williams was, at that point, considered over the hill. He had been signed by the Steelers as kind of like a forgotten guy. And when Le'Veon Bell got hurt, right before he wanted his extension, D'Angelo Williams came in and completely saved the Steelers' season in the offense. And like right after, his career was over.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody was like, we're gonna even.
Speaking of that,
the Steelers can't find a running back since then.
Speaking of careers over, in 2020
they took
again,
a first-round running back, and how'd that work?
Speaking of, though, in careers over conversation, in 2020, Todd Gurley, who was, again, coming off a stellar season, got hurt, went down, and CJ Anderson, coming off the Broncos, stepped in, played so well that when Gurley returned for the playoffs, they kept starting CJ Anderson, and both players aren't even in the league anymore. This is like where, unfortunately, we have found over and over and over again that when a backup comes in for a star running back, you're going to get almost all of the production back. Maybe not all, but enough to win, and you're going to do it cheaper, and it's not worth paying your running back. And it's just, it's unfortunately, there's a supply of guys who are young, who can run in a zone blocking scheme because they have to hit the right hole. It's not like Le'Veon where he's waiting. I don't even think
it matters that it's a zone blocking scheme.
I do. I think it slightly matters. Maybe it doesn't, but I think it matters. It makes it easier. It makes it easier.
I think that zone blocking scheme makes it easier for those slightly average, maybe like just the average running backs. That makes them better. I think that's what makes that gap a little bit smaller.
Which sucks for the premier guys.
It sucks,
because they pop off. And then you have guys that really should. James Robinson, who goes off for 1,000 yards, never Pro Bowl or All Pro for the record. But yeah, those types of guys are going to fucking ball out.
And I think it sucks horribly for running backs right now. But it's just a simple supply of and the guys that are consistently healthy and consistently good. Your Derrick Henrys, your Nick Chubbs, your Christian McCaffreys. He had a little bout there with injuries for a while, but for the most part, he has been consistently healthy. There was like a 2-year run where he just couldn't stay healthy. But those guys have gotten second contracts. It's not impossible. You're just not going to get. You're not getting what Le'Veon Bell thought he was going to get, which is like a $20 million a year contract. You're just not getting it. The most you're getting is 10, 12 ish.
And even what he got in New York was good. And definitely catch me walking back. But that's kind of my point. Just that little. I'm speaking for that little part of, and I don't want to misquote you, but yeah, we're going to get 80%. Not every single person's going to step right in and get production filled in. But that's the point I want to make. Those little guys, those Saquons, those Josh Jacobs, Zeke Elliott at a certain point. We saw Zeke pop, and then once he wasn't really doing anything, that offense sank. What we thought Dak Prescott was going to be sank because of that running back. And all of a sudden we got Tony Pollard here. But like that Saquon, Josh Jacobs my main thing I want to get out of here is the reason that these running backs are in an uproar right now is because a kid who's never played an NFL snap is going to be the highest paid running back in the league in Bijan Robinson.
But that's the solution.
But that's
the solution.
But so
unfortunately,
we
they
won't
live
pay,
through the gray area.
So we won't pay top dollar for proven veterans, but we'll pay top dollar in running back market eyes. We'll pay top dollar for
Saquon Barkley at 30.
We don't either, but that's the thing. We're not even, the top dollar here is so low that I don't even think that Saquon was getting the same yearly as Bijan.
But it's not low. It's Bijan is like he's getting a contract based off the market, based on when he was drafted. So the solution to running backs' problems right now is, unfortunately, all the veterans that are whining and crying aren't going to get paid. They're just not going to get what they want. But the solution going forward would be to redo in the next CBA. You have to start with rookie contracts. Yeah. You want to draft a running back in the first round? Great. Running backs get 7-year contracts instead of 4 with a +1, and you got to pay them the way you're paying. Like, give them longevity and give them money off their rookie deals, or give them and maybe it's not that. And I know Wally has some other ideas, but give them, you start it early. Get them paid as rookies, and unfortunately, that might make people weary to draft first-round running backs. But frankly, I've been preaching you shouldn't draft one anyways, and that's where the NFL's heading. So we're going to get to a point where they're going to have to get paid through their rookie contract, and maybe the league gets back to a point where we're running heavy and you go after the running backs and you pay them long term. But right now, it's just not it.
I'm just never seen a positional group more disrespected that's more prone to getting CTE than the running backs. And I think that's also where I'm kind of drawing the line. Fair. It's like, okay, I'll start swallowing the pill of like they shouldn't be getting these high contracts. They should definitely be getting like 8, 9, like anywhere, even take it back like 7 to like that 11 range, right? But on top of that, these guys every single down are getting to a car accident. Doesn't matter if it's blocking, doesn't matter if it's running, doesn't matter if it's running a route. Like damn, Deebo Samuel was getting worked last year before Christian came because he was getting the ball handed off to him on top of being in just the jet sweeps, just getting popped every play. These running backs need to get paid simply because they're putting their body on the line. Outside of the trenches, I would argue the most them and the linebackers, and that's who they're hitting every play.
But if you're talking about guys that are not getting paid their second contracts, those guys are already on the NFL pension for life. They're already on medical for for their life. They're on the NFL game plan. They're going to get taken care of.
But add a second contract with that too. That makes it that much better. I'm not even looking for a big one. Get them a second contract that can lock everything in. And you know what sucks? This conversation is not going to mean anything when half the running backs in the league get hurt in this training camp, and then all these other guys just get off the street. Like Melvin Gordon already got signed by the Ravens. Like now all the bad ones are going to start getting signed first.
I mean, I get what you're saying, and I do agree that it is unfair, but it sucks because you know what? The running backs are the coal miners of the NFL. Like, it isn't fair. They do have the shittiest job. They do have the highest risk of, like, these problems. The problem is there's such a plethora of running back talent, and it doesn't matter like other sports or in other positions for football where if you start playing running back at 16, you can make the NFL if you are the athlete to get you in. If you start playing other positions in the NFL, it takes more time to like hone that craft and be good enough to get there. The problem is, like, right now, you just had, like, for instance, Bijan just got drafted 8th overall. What people forget is Roschon Johnson, his backup running back, also got drafted in the first 100 picks of the NFL draft because there's that much talent at the college level that a backup was even able to get drafted. It sucks, but, like, you can replace the production. As much as you might want that player in, why would I take, or if I'm a Raiders fan, why would I pay Josh Jacobs a 3 or 4 year deal right now when, all right, well, are we really going to win anything right now? No. Why not see what we have with Zamir White? Why not wait and see if you're going to be able to get another rookie? It sucks. It's not fair. but it's the reality. There is a supply and demand problem in the running back community.
So what do you suggest would be a solution going forward if and as the NFLPA?
I have one. And I tell you, as much as it makes sense to me, you won't ever get the agreement of it because the NFLPA is made up of all of the players, not just running backs. And my solution would be that you adopt a salary system. And that would be like, all right, teams have to pay this position group X to Y percent. So, like, let's say quarterbacks are allowed to be paid anywhere from 15 to 20% of your entire roster cap space. That's awesome in theory, but you're also going to have to get those quarterbacks to sign off on getting paid less and having a ceiling placed on their spending where we're seeing booms in other positions. So you would have to almost get other position groups to agree not to take as much money because their brothers, their buddies, 4 running backs out of 53 men are not getting paid enough that it hurts the other 49.
Yeah, and the way the
sense.
NFL is working right now, it would never go through because right now, as you see with quarterbacks, NFL teams are betting on the future and the expansion of the cap, right? So with Patrick Mahomes, you hand him, whatever you got, 10 years, $800 million, whatever the fuck he's making. But you're betting you're going to eat up your cap in the short term, betting that he takes up less and less and less percent over the long term so that over time you can continue to build your team and grow your team and have something strong. But you signed him for 8 to 10 years, whatever he signed. I don't even remember because it was so much. But you're signing these guys long term so that, you're betting on that future cap raise so that you can eat up less percentage of cap on this guy long term. And with the way it's working now, they're expending the way the NFL is now. They're using running backs to get cheap, and they're using linebackers to get cheap, and it's worked out every year for the last 15 years.
That's why it sucks because it's worked. I don't know, Steven, do you have an idea of what you would do? Because I racked my brain this last week because you're right, it's not fair. I think we all can agree. It's not fair for the best guys. I just don't know what the solution
and your
is.
X percentage, it's going to be good, and it's only going to get better because, like you said, the salary cap is raising. I want to say the NFL, I think, distributed $11 billion this year in revenue. Green Bay had 374 mil, I think, is what they reported. They're the only team that can report that because they're publicly owned. So you multiply that by 32, you're sitting right about that, and that's an increase. It's increasing each year, so obviously that number's going to be a little bit bigger, but maybe there's got to be almost something similar, like a proportionate amount for each position group that you need to spend, right? So if you have X amount, I need, for running backs, it's all right, for running backs, you're allocated anywhere from, I don't even know what a good number is, 12 to 15, right? And I guess that for the sake of the argument, it's not good right now, but that 12 to 15 mark, right? It's almost like when you see on Twitter, it's build your perfect offense with tiers of $1 to $5. You know what I'm saying?
I thought about that too. I like that you thought that way.
It almost come to that where it gets a little bit corporate. It's yep, this is where your spending is. This is your budget. You need to hit it or you're going to lose all this money, right? So it's okay, let's parcel off how much money each position group is going to be, allotted based off, what the market's looking like. Obviously quarterbacks, D tackles and D ends, and left tackles are going to be in that high percentage tier. Right? Those are some of the highest paid, and then you kind of have then you start kind of going down the line. You have your interior offensive line, other interior linemen that really aren't getting paid. You probably go through corners, your safeties, and then you can start getting into the linebackers and the running backs. Two of those really low paid positions depending on where you're at. So that's a way more crunching of the numbers than what you were proposing, but that's just kind of my 2 cents.
No, yeah, you went more specifics. But sorry, Dave, you go ahead. But that was more where I was at.
I don't think it would work from a percentage of position perspective because 10 years from now we might be right back to running backs being the pride and joy of an offense instead of quarterbacks. The game can change, which is why, it might help now, but then 10 years from now, it might be hurting 3 other position groups now instead of just running backs or something like that. And I have a really hard time with it, which is why I think it just, you got to, in the next CBA, you got to fix rookie contracts for running back. Make them, you draft a guy, what is it, like a minimum of a 4-year +1 deal for first round and second round picks or something.
First round, I think second's a straight
for first round running backs, make it 6+1. Right, like get them more money over time.
What about
extend
for running backs even? And see, look at us workshopping. Like I like the idea of a rookie contract basis because you're never going to fix the problem of too many running backs coming into the league. So you might as well get them more front-loaded deals. But why not? Man, see.
I'm scared that the running back contract.
Make fully guaranteed contracts for rookie running backs.
But why not do something where it's like it doesn't hit against the cap, where it's like a signing bonus almost, where it costs the owner more money, but it's not necessarily going to hurt the team building, if that makes sense. Because that's the only way you're going to get this to get signed off on. If you don't,
no, it's. I think the only real fix is rookie contracts for running backs in the NFL.
You're talking me into it more.
And I just I don't know when the next CBA is. It's God knows when, but I think that's the only solution is to structure rookie running back contracts to be either longer or, to Wally's point, more guarantees or not a hit against the cap.
Like you could give more incentives.
Signing bonuses really aren't a hit against the cap.
Like I was thinking that too. It's like, well, we can make them more incentive-based deals, but how far down the road until now we have to make all the NFL?
No, because then you're going to get some dipshit owner that or some dipshit GM Gettleman who would incentive-laden Saquon Barkley's contract to be like $100 million, and he has to hit 2,000 yards to get 50 million of it, right? Like there would be a lot of, here's this 20-year-old kid, here's $100 million, but just kidding, I've put the carrot so far out, you'll never get it.
Well, there's got to be something that that's attainable, but not obviously that they're going to get every single time, right? You want to get, it's like, if you're in sales, there's different bonus tiers, right? There's one that's extremely attainable, one if you're working a little extra for, you're going to get one that you're busting your ass for, the one that you're just different from everybody else. And that's kind of like how that's going to be incentivized based off. Again, now we're going to kind of get into the weeds where it's just everything is just going to be so difficult to back on right now because we have just never seen a drop off from a position getting paid like this.
You're right, but at the same point, and this will be my last point going forward. Yeah, it's gotten worse in a term of percentage going up, but Marcus Allen was a first-round running back drafted 40 years ago. 40 years ago, first-round, top 10 pick, mind you. He played 16 seasons, and he made just a hair over $14 million.
I was just going to,
how much
Wally,
taxes
you're thinking the same way I am.
It's not good, but it's gotten better.
What I was going to say is, Dan Marino
in
1995 got the highest contract in league history. I'll give you a guess of what it was.
Wait, in what year?
It's probably 22 mil.
It was 4 years, 20 million or something. That was the highest contract in NFL history at the time. And what are we at? 28 years later, we're at 500 million for 10 years. So I would love to see, to Wally's point, I'd love to see what the percentage breakdown by position is, because I bet that it's much worse for running backs, but I bet you it's not I bet you it's 15% to 8%, and it probably is a cut in half, but it's not as significant as maybe what the total numbers seem like in today's NFL.
Well, how we talked about when Daniel Jones got signed to his deal, where we talked about percentage of the cap, and that matters. Yep. Daniel Jones is making more money than we ever in a million years would have thought he ever was going to, but given where the rising quarterback market has brought it, it's about the same. He's still getting paid top 10, 15 quarterback will be in a year or two. It's just they're getting ahead of the market. It sucks. It works for quarterbacks.
And that's also a bad example too, because they're able to get out of that contract super quick if they need to within.
That's
I think
true.
after year
You're
1 or
right.
2. So, but no,
You're right. You're right.
But that's
The
a good
Gettleman
example.
special. Pay people a lot and hope for the best.
Yeah, well, at least they have an out this time.
True.
They're not
True.
just like fucking hope. Man, hope this 4 years to get at least a couple Super Bowl or a couple playoff wins.
God.
That'd be nice.
Not to detract here, but I really thought Kenny Galladay was going to be a really great receiver in the NFL, and man,
He was good in Detroit.
I know
Detroit.
he was great in Detroit. He got paid, and he
is
just
back in Detroit
flatlined.
now?
I have no idea.
Mannequin man, who knows where he is?
You want a good
That man like saw his money and went, I think Kelvin Benjamin's my hero.
Yeah, if you want to have some good numbers crunch, why don't you see how much he made per reception there? Because it is
Well,
stupid.
he had 43 catches in 2021 and 22. 37 of them came in 2021. However,
I didn't think he had that much.
Yeah, he
I
had
think
6
like 20.
last year. It's crazy. He's only 29. It's still crazy to think about, but his body just gave up on him.
Like, would you rather pay Kenny Galladay that small wide receiver contract or a stud running back if you're bringing him in? Like with that, I'd rather give me a running back because Kenny Galladay
it didn't work
at $4 million.
It didn't work for Kenny. Oh, I get what you're saying at this stage.
Yeah.
Kenny Galladay ain't ever playing another snap. He's
in Detroit.
I have that he's a free agent here.
Oh, I could have sworn. Oh, maybe Marvin Jones went back to Detroit.
Or Marvin Mims.
No, I do. I swear to God, one of them.
Because I saw Mims got traded for a 6 this week from the Jets.
Yeah, I just got an update that he made a one-handed grab, and now I officially came to that realization that one-handed grabs aren't that cool anymore.
Marvin Mims is what brought you to that. I kind of like that. Marvin Mims did have a purpose in the NFL.
Yeah,
But
pure hatred.
our aneurysms were once again brought to you by Abby Turner Creative, your one-stop shop marketing agency specializing in branding high-end photography, fashion, and more, especially if you're around our age where there's college graduations, engagements, baby pictures, weddings, you name it. They're happening every weekend. Abby Turner Creative is the only way to go. Check her out for yourself on abbyturnerphoto.com. That's Abby, ABBEY, or on our Instagram page at Sawdad and Sapphire again. That is abbyturnerphoto.com. Did you hear that? What? Is it time?
Oh, it's
I gotta
time.
do it! It is time! It's 911 Rapid Fire. David's cringing, so we get to be excited.
I'll forever cringe.
We're trying to annoy him more than his parents are the next 8 months.
Hell yeah, we are. Josh Harris Group it's going to be their time to try to annoy the DMC area because they officially own the Commanders, sorta? We don't know if they're going to be the Commanders long term, but they own the Washington football team. Smell you later, Dan Snyder. How awesome is this for the city of Washington?
Officially official, and like you even got to the point. What's the name going to be? Already have Josh Harris. This group also is going to include Magic Johnson as well, guys. But they've already kind of come out seeking help from the community about certain plans of what they're going to do. I think that the uniforms are in question. The name is the big one that's going to be in question. So the fact that he's starting it off with opening it up to the community, seeing what they want, getting their 2 cents, there's no better way to start off as an owner.
I am just here for the grassroots movement that I'm going to start of Dan Snyder buying the Raiders because, Mark Davis can't afford to fire another coach.
You think he's going to bring in John Gruden?
Oh!
Wouldn't that be the
circle.
all-time full circle?
Yep.
Wow, your brain's working overhaul. I was just going to say because welcome Dan Snyder, at least he has money. But after it sounded like we were going to have this deal fall through, I'm just happy for Washington fans that it's final. Yeah, it might not be the Commanders, but hail to the whatever skins are going to be next.
In all seriousness, fuck Dan Snyder.
Oh, we're all on that side.
Yeah,
I think the world is on that side.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, amen. We're on the right page.
The whole world's on that side.
Yeah. Alex Highsmith and the Pittsburgh Steelers agreed to a 4-year, $68 million deal. Steelers are starting to kind of look like the Steelers again, boys. TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Cameron Hayward, Larry Ogunjobi, and rookie Keanu Benton, by the way, who I'm in love with, Wisconsin guy. I think this front seven can do something. I'm pretty excited about it.
Look, it's unfortunate for the AFC North that, a significant player on the Steel Queer defense is getting paid. But, it's great for the Steel Queers. But unfortunately, I don't care about them, and they still have the worst quarterback in the AFC North. It's like the top three, and then, as far as what's-his-face, as Uncle Rico and Napoleon Dynamite can throw a football, then you reach Kenny Pickett all the way at the bottom there. So, at best, they're winning 8 games this year.
Nah, come on. They're going to at least be over 500. But no, kudos to Alex Highsmith. I mean, he came off his best year last year with sacks. He had 14.5. To put that in perspective, he had 8 the previous 2 years combined, so almost doubled it in just his year alone. I mean, he was huge with that defense and helping when TJ Watt was out last year. So, fun fact, this move actually puts the Steelers over the cap just about $6.5 million. So, look within the coming days, the next week or so, to kind of get a lot of restructures done. TJ Watt, you're probably the first one on the list. Minka Fitzpatrick, most likely. Or maybe there's some unfortunate moves coming out of here. We don't know.
I feel like an idiot for bringing this up now, but I had to see if you guys saw it. Did you see J.J. Watt said that had it not been for his brother's extension and making sure he got as much money as possible, that he was ready to sign with the Steelers?
Yep.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Like that Watt family needs any more money. What was that going to be? $5 million that he probably would have gotten right back?
If someone goes down in week 6, I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Jimmy G is not on the PUP list ahead of the Raiders training camp after he passed a physical there in Vegas. Wally, your quarterback, he's in the building.
All right.
You're still getting used to that wording, weren't you?
To a degree, because I still, to this day, and we saw Derek Carr, his photos break today of him in the Saints gear. It hurt a little bit.
Oh, I didn't see. How'd he look?
He looked good.
Good.
It felt like
it's black and silver, black and gold.
True.
It's like when you see your ex is looking really good with it, like a new guy, and you're like, wait a minute. Am I the loser?
Yeah.
And of course I am. I'm a Raiders fan. So I know that, and people will find out quickly. This is a downgrade at quarterback, whether he's healthy or he's not. And now we've seen the rumblings of Hunter Renfrow possibly being out, which means he'll be traded in the next month or so. Great days to be a Raider fan. Yip, yip, hooray.
Hey, don't worry, buddy. We're both in the same boat. The only other thing is the Jets whites that they whipped out today are god-awfully ugly.
How boring are those?
Okay, I didn't want people to be like, oh, why, because Aaron and them, I'm like, I've never seen, and I love the white unis because they always look crisp. That was so boring. The helmet's
Jets
sick.
are so boring.
The helmets are sick. I like the old school Jets, but I'm like, oh my god, it looks like a JV team. Just get just throw some mesh jerseys on them, call it a day at this point.
Get me excited. Mesh jerseys? I'm about it. CJ Gardner-Johnson, he went down today with a no-contact knee injury. Good news, though. It sounds like he's going to be okay, where the three of us were already throwing our pity party parade.
Yeah.
Good news for Lions fans.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie. I was, the minute that, who was it, Steven? You sent that message into the group
I think it was Wally, yeah.
Was it Wally? I saw that, and I was like, fuck the NFL. I'm done already. I don't want to be a part of this shit.
Exactly.
But no, I'm glad, Kyle Butson sent us a DM saying that, a tweet saying that he was fine and day-to-day or whatever. And that was I saw that and I was like, all right, life is good. I'm ready for the NFL again.
Yeah, the NFC Browns, as I like to take it. Butson, I didn't have the chance to talk with Brock, but Butson's like, man, it is so rough being a Lions fan. But like you guys said, he is considered day-to-day after being carted off, which is huge. And a joke that Wally said, okay, now it's Brian Brandt season, but we get to pump the brakes a little bit. He's going to have some more time under CJGJ.
I wouldn't be surprised if they use him like JOK on the Browns, and you see a lot more of him, and he's playing like a hybrid role, right? Brian Branch is a perfect guy to throw on a tight end like Travis Kelce or your George Kittles and have him cover that tight end. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of them, but like the Lions, God, I love the Lions. I'm so excited for the season.
You should be. Well, last thing I'll say, Brian Branch, I mean, they draft him as a safety and already slotting him at nickel. It tells you how much versatility that this kid has and how excited they are about him. Get excited. Giants fans get excited too because they signed James Robinson. That's worth being excited. David was willing to call him an all-pro 30 minutes ago.
That's true.
And Cole Beasley is, who knows, the anti-vax king is also there. What are your guys' thoughts on this one?
Honestly, these are really significant like role player signings for the Giants. They'll largely go unnoticed, but no matter Beasley's a menace to both society, but he's also a menace across the middle short of the field, like 8 to 10 yards out. That man eats, and he did it with Dable in Buffalo. Like he quietly earned himself like the best slot receiver in the league title. Like you could argue it, but he was top 2. He eats across the middle of the field in like a short range. And, we were talking about him earlier, but Robinson's no slouch. He's not efficient, but he can eat. He can, if Saquon's going to sit out for the season, James Robinson's going to fill right in. He's not going to do all of the production of Saquon, but he'll get, 80, 90% of that production for him. And, these are significant signings, and they'll go unnoticed until we get halfway through the season, and then they start mattering.
I think
Jets legend.
And I want to say that Cole Beasley is one of those guys that was just a menace on third downs. Like third down, I'm going right to Cole Beasley, especially when he was in Buffalo. I'm trying to remember when he was there. I think he was there for like the Tony Romo Cowboys back in the day, like the start of Dak. But I'm pretty sure he's one of those third down guys that Josh Allen always looked at. No, James Robinson, this is an opportunity for him to kind of revive his career a little bit. We'll see what Saquon does. We know how New York likes to use their running backs a lot, but maybe because now they have James Robinson, they won't use him as much or have his usage as high in the amount of touches. Only time will tell.
Miles Austin and Cole Beasley are the same person.
Austin. No, they are not.
What?
Miles Austin's gorgeous.
I was going to say, obviously, you have different style players, but they're both forgettable slot guys to me. Where, yeah, they both were impactful and big when they were in their prime. Cole Beasley's not that. We saw him kind of fall off, so I'm not. I think he's forgettable.
But did he fall off because Dable wasn't there?
Oh, well, thank God Daniel Jones is there to save the day. So look,
if there's anyone who's going to check down to the middle, it's going to be Daniel Jones. This might be Cole Beasley's 1,200-yard season in the making.
Well,
Yeah,
I was going to say what they're going to have.
He's going to be revived like Geno Smith this year.
Cole Beasley's going to have 75 catches for 475 yards.
Yeah, but he's going to 68 of those are going to be for first downs.
Oh, God. Well, okay. My favorite thing, and we have to be careful with this because I know I will talk too much, the uniforms. Thank God the double helmet rule. We got even more this year. All of these throwbacks are coming out. Vikings come out with the throwback dated on the 60s and 70s. Seahawks, their 90s are back. Best uniform in the history of the Seahawks. No big deal. The Colts come out with a horrible black helmet, terrible alternate jersey. The Titans come back with, I don't care that it's not their team, really. It should be in Houston. I hear all those millennials and people bitching. Like, my feelings are hurt. My team that used to be here is in here wearing my jerseys. But too bad. The greatest uniform in the history of the NFL is back in Tennessee. Wrong. And, I know you think wrong.
Top 5.
But then the Browns, who David will also be wrong about, unveiled an all-white uniform, which, might I just say, makes me feel good and ready to move to Corvallis, Oregon, because they look like the Oregon State Beavers.
Also
I don't
trash.
mean that as a negative thing.
Just single French Hall of Famer, Oregon State Beaver.
Ooh, Corvallis. Let's go.
Per usual, everyone has elite uniform changes, and the Browns are the worst of the pack.
Me ignoring the Colts, or do you?
Yeah,
do you
that's
actually like
you
the
think.
I don't
you
hate the
know-
Colts, but at least they took a risk. The Browns didn't take a risk.
They took a risk and they missed.
The Browns
every way.
fucking went conservative and they missed. I don't know what you want.
The
Like,
Browns
that's
take the risk on the
conservative?
football field.
the Browns uni changes are the same to me as
That's
that
conservative?
stupid color change. Dude, it is the fucking Bears. It is the Bears uniform.
Why do you keep seeing the Bears? Where do you see the Bears?
Everywhere. It is the Bears
There's no navy.
uniform.
There's no navy.
Right,
They're a
it's just
football
brown.
team
It's
and they have
shit.
numbers.
Browns uniform trash. Colts
Right.
is worse, but at least they took a significant risk.
Yeah, David is an 80-year-old man when it comes to his Cleveland Browns and really sticking up for
I'll give him that.
The unis are fucking gas.
That's
Go over
fair.
there.
Bring me back the 1960s uniforms. I'd be just happy. I'd be happy.
I think I'd be ready.
I need to see
But that's
I
fine.
need to see these now. But whatever, you fuck.
Well, they're the same. You'll see it. They're very similar.
yeah, they're very similar.
Steven, be ready. David was like, I'm surprised. This is such a conservative change. It is the first non-orange helmet they're wearing since the.
Which is trash.
How is it trash?
It's trash.
They're buying
These are the
into what
same
the
exact
Bengals are
jerseys,
doing.
except they making them pop like the Vikings jersey. You know what, David? Go fucking drink your Milwaukee's best. Go listen to your Frank
First of all,
Sinatra record.
that's it's
You're
Milwaukee's best.
you're
That's way
80
below the
old man.
Milwaukee fucking.
No, just go, you decrepit old man. The Vikings, I could I just fuck Minnesota.
It reminds me of doesn't it remind you of the Steelers when they got their box numbers back for their alternates, where it's very subtle change,
Yeah.
but it's a pleasant change.
But at least the Browns didn't just try to bamboozle us and be like, oh,
I
it's
agree.
just
I'm
another
off the
orange.
Browns.
They have a history of doing that.
And they
That's why I'm off the Browns, because I'm like he's
Seahawks.
wrong. I'm gonna let him be
Seahawks are
wrong.
the best. I've already been trying to shop jerseys.
Seahawks are
by the
unfair
way-
though. Seahawks have the best color scheme in the NFL. It's like really.
Ooh.
I maybe
I
not
like
the
the color
best,
scheme.
but it's up there as
Okay.
the best. And there's a lot. Let's put it this way: there's a lot more things they can do with those colors than other people can do with their colors.
yeah,
in my
like
opinion,
the all lime greens.
Well, and people hated, like, when they switched to these new jerseys, they loved them, and they were starting to be like, I'm tired of these old ones. They're washed out. And now it's gone far enough back where people are starting to see sense again. That color scheme, that silver helmet, that bright blue. Ooh.
Well, I mean, it's just like
Jackson
anything.
Smith and Jigba picture.
After the
It
generations
needs
start
it.
coming up, it's like those are sick. That's why people like to go back to the vinyls. That's why people are going back to CDs right now.
True.
Anything. That's why Champions is getting rebranded, and all of a sudden everyone's rocking Champion stuff.
I love Wally's obsession with the color silver because of the Raiders.
It's good. I love silver just in general. It's my favorite exotic color.
Exotic.
First of all, exotic. First
That is
of all,
not exotic.
that's not
that
exotic. That's one of
It's
like the
pretty
base
exotic.
I
colors.
would think
It's shiny.
Like pastels were exotic.
Gray is a base color.
Oh my god! I thought you were
Shiny
going to say it.
silver. Okay.
I
Let's get
love
to
you,
the
but you
last
developed
one.
this love out of the Raiders. Let's move on.
You think so? I'm sure that had part of it, but that was not the full thing.
But keep your.
What I was gonna say, the best jersey of the bunch, the Houston Oilers, the Tennessee Titans.
They should just
Funny as that is to say,
Bring 'em back permanently.
How? Oh, well, and that's the problem.
bring them back
you know,
permanently.
the Houston people are all like upset. You have a
Bang, bang,
football
bang,
team
I'm done,
again.
dibby dome. But I'm
Yeah,
assuming
like-
that's what Houston's like.
Well, here's my thing. So I got to do what you guys did last week. I'm going to pull up this picture. You guys, what are your thoughts on these uniforms? Because I got to, the road ones are
Oilers?
my, yes. You guys love them as much as I do,
Yeah,
right?
I don't think they're the best ever, but I think they're top five.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, you're wrong, but I mean,
You're
that's
wrong,
fine.
but it's fine. Anyways, no,
You're
here's
wrong.
what really should happen. We should have like an NBA switch around, where like
Oh,
you
dude,
know,
Supersonic Seahawks. Holy shit!
no, but like no. What I'm saying is when the Pelicans gave up the Hornets name to Charlotte because Charlotte had been the Hornets historically, the Texans should go back to the Oilers and just roll with those fucking jerseys forever.
Oh, but the problem is David, I've actually investigated this before. The Adam family that moved to Tennessee has copyright.
Yeah, but fuck
like,
them.
I agree, but they are the ones that control
But I think
it.
that's
So
what happened with
if
the
they
NBA
moved
too. I
off
think
of
they
it-
like sold the rights or whatever. But like,
Well, if you
Yeah.
can convince the Adam family to sell it to the
Keep
Texans,
take
change the
history.
Texans tomorrow.
Take history. Any championships the Oilers won, any significant whatever, call it the Tennessee Titans, and just give me the Oilers name back in Houston with those jerseys, and I'm set.
Tell me now that I have this up. Tell me these roads are somehow not like those are to me
Sexy.
the best. They're
Nothing
so
will
hot.
ever beat
It's
the
like
powder
last
blues
week.
for me, but those are hot.
Well, powder blues are
Well, it's
home.
like no, he meant powder blues for the Chargers.
I know, but those are their home jerseys. You said away.
That's
I know.
fair. Well,
That's fair.
you
That's
know
a good
how
point.
like the
That's a good point.
creamsicles though?
The
Like the
away
creamsicles.
creamsicles are pretty great too.
That's why I'm like the
Those are
away
sexy.
Oilers are even better than the home, and I love the
See
home.
that powder
but I
blue?
think that
That's an
those-
exotic color, Walter.
Agreed.
Not
I'm
fucking
fair. That's
shiny
fair.
gray. God.
it's shiny silver, baby.
Excuse me, but you know what's even awesome? Like you said at the beginning, all these teams are whipping out these jerseys. There's going to be more. Like we still haven't officially gotten the Kelly Greens. Apparently Buffalo has been in the mix, and I've been seeing a lot of jokes. Are the Baltimore Ravens going to be rocking Browns jerseys as their throwbacks?
How funny would that be? I know
Go
that
for
would,
it.
but that'd be hilarious.
They should.
I'd
Well, they got the all whites. Cleveland should do. They should have a Cleveland game.
That'd be. They won't.
Actually,
do
though,
that.
the Ravens all blacks are pretty sexy though with the purple
With the
accents.
purples,
Yeah.
yeah, and like a little bit of gold
Hey,
too,
we're
right?
all
'Cause
purple
the eye.
guys.
Yeah.
We're all
Their
purple
modern
guys
jersey
here.
is actually like really nice. Like their modern alternative. That's a real nice one.
Good thing we're recording this. You said a good thing. You said a nice thing about an AFC.
Yeah,
film.
but the worst
True.
thing is those.
Hey.
You're a Ravens fan now.
Okay, but that's fine because I still hate the Steelers, who have the worst alternative jersey in sports history
Okay.
with the Bumblebees.
I thought you were getting ready to say the worst.
No,
regular. I
no,
was
the
getting ready to be
Bumblebee
like,
jerseys
check
are the
yourself.
worst in the history of alternative jerseys. You can't convince me otherwise.
I
Yeah,
tell
but
you
looking
what,
back on it, that could not be any better of a jersey for that specific team with Ben Roethlisberger, AB, and Lev Bell.
Yeah,
well,
those psychopaths.
trust tree moment. Oh, and Steven, plug your ears because this totally has nothing to do with your team. But you want to talk about another worst
all yellows?
jersey of all time?
No,
That brown helmet, blue jersey, yellow.
it's
circle
it's a faux leather, and it's
We should
for
have.
it's for the
we should
1920s
ponder-
Acme Packers.
We should ponder top 5 worst jerseys in history in the NFL next podcast.
I don't think Green Bay's
That'd be
making.
a lot easier than the top 5 best.
I don't think Green Bay's making that in the top.
We already
5.
did a top 5 best since.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like top 5 best to me is harder just because there's so many good
Yeah, but
ones.
top 5 worst is
I
way
think
more
the-
fun.
You're right, but like the worst are gonna. I feel like they're gonna stick out to us. Like,
But
the
I think
ones
there are
that
going to
we
be some
hate,
surprises.
we're really gonna hate.
Like I totally forgot about Green Bay's jersey until you just said something.
Oh, they're burned into my memory. I lived up there, having Packer fans tell me they were great for 5
Yeah,
years.
That's like whatever Stockholm syndrome. You know, you're there
It
and you
was.
gotta love it. You know,
And good for Steven. Steven seems to be actually
I
aware
I
that
don't
they're not
hate
great.
them. I'm like they are definitely unique and they are totally off the color scheme. But like I feel like we've seen a lot worse, and I'm like, we get them once a year.
this
maybe,
is why
and
we
I'm
got to
like,
do
whatever.
it. This is why we got to do it.
They're boring enough that they can avoid a top 5 list.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
that's
give them that.
That's a fair point.
you know what I'm saying.
They're boring enough to avoid it. I'll give you that.
Well, with that, that's going to bring us to an end of another episode of Loss of Down. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe on our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Loss of Down, as well as retweeting on our Twitter, down_loss. Again, this episode is brought to you by Abby Turner Creative. Go to abbyturnerphoto.com and our Instagram, Sawdown and Sapphire. My parting words, boys. I had a life-changing experience. I finally pulled the trigger after like a year plus of getting the screen door with the magnets in the middle. It
Wait,
is
what?
phenomenal.
Wait, no. Look, I'm confused.
So you know,
what
like
you're
the back
actually
door,
telling me.
you know, you have your screen door you slide. Go ahead and get rid of that.
Yes.
You can get something that you like Velcro and stick to the outside of it, so it takes up your whole door as is, like a screen door would, except there's magnets in the middle, so you can split it. You know, like the beads back in the day when people used to have beads as their,
I
as their
know what
bedroom
you're-
door, and you can just.
Yeah, I think
That's
I
what
I
it
understand
was.
the concept, but I didn't know this thing existed.
I'm still trying to like fall a screen. So like the screen's just like a walkthrough thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's like connected up top and not on the sides, and you kind of walk through it.
Yep. So it's
Okay.
like one of these.
I'm interested.
See if it can pop up. Boom.
Okay.
So you just walk right in the middle, and that's just a magnet. It is life-changing. I just open the door. Especially when it's nice. Let the dog out whenever. She kind of just lets herself out or in. And man, I don't know about y'all, but we've been getting slammed with some horrible weather, too, as the thunder just kind of rolls in right there.
Yeah, free ad to flyscreendoor.com. Good luck to them. Because I'm like,
you know that
dude.
This episode is brought to you by flyscreendoor.com. Your one-stop shop marketing agency specializing in magnet screen doors and much more.
Specializing in magnet screen doors.
Specialize in magnet screen doors and both.
You're like, that's about it. That's all we do.
Just trust us. They're good.
They're really great. Yeah, use promo code
Door.
Just found out for 20% off. Door for 20% off.
No more dough.
All right. Well, I have a couple quick thoughts, and then we'll be heading out of our way. We're 2 weeks away, guys. We're going to be starting our division previews. As you guys, if you are followers of the show, you know we do as we head up. We'll be introducing 2 shows a week again before long, too. Make sure you're paying attention to that. We will be announcing that before long. And even more exciting, next Monday, when you hear our voices, we will be actually dropping an interview with a fantasy expert, Dave Davenport.
Did y'all just hear that?
Holy shit, where are you?
Holy shit.
I'm in Columbus. I guess I'm right in the eye or something.
Oh, I missed that. It's fucking sunny here. Jesus.
Well, I was
I
just
thought somebody
was
dropped something in the
ominous
background. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, that was.
Oh no, that's an ominous welcome to Dave Davenport. That was like the Undertaker kind of thing. You got his play music. But next Monday, make sure you listen. If you're a fantasy football fan, we're gonna have a bunch of questions for Dave. He'll be joining us. We'd really appreciate it. But otherwise, guys, I only have one other thing for you. Is fair or foul? Fair or foul? I am allegedly at my brother's bachelor party, and you're at like a Texas Roadhouse. You're in a booth, and the booth behind you leaves, and they leave quite a bit of food. Is it fair or foul to grab the chicken off that tip plate behind you and bring it over to the boys in front of you? Free meal, baby.
Oh my
Free
god.
meal. You think that's bad, dude? I've got to tell you about Stranger Beer.
Oh god.
An invention of mine.
What is wrong with you?
People leave beer at the bar. It's Stranger Beer.
Buddy, you could get fucking drugged from that shit. A woman could have left that because she thought somebody slipped something in it.
Well, and then imagine how great my night's going to be. Save a lot of
Maybe that's
money.
why you were feeling like shit the last 36 hours, Bob.
Whoa, oh my
Stranger
god. I
chicken
already
and beer.
told David this. I feel ashamed of myself because it is like an 18-year-old mistake. But we got back in a bachelor party, got back at the same time the other night, and my brother's soon-to-be bride had a Malibu glass, like 3 or 4 ounces in a glass, and I thought it was water, and I was desperately trying to get water, and I threw it back, and it was that like immediate. This isn't water. No shit, David. I've told you.
This is why
I have acknowledged I was
no, but
wrong.
it's you've created habits, Mr. Stranger Beer. You've just picked shit up and drink it instead of going. You know what? That's not mine.
Guess who's still here?
You know?
Guess who's here? Guess who's still here? I run this world. Nothing can kill me. I'm invincible. So yeah, that's my side. Hope you guys have a great week too. So we're saying foul?
Foul. Yeah,
grabbing...
like, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of O's
All
are
right.
being said in that when I say it. Yes, absolutely.
I mean, you're wrong. It was
It's
delicious
2v1. You're
chicken,
wrong.
by the way. It was delicious chicken, by the way.
This had to be how you guys felt when I was making my running back conversation or my argument.
No, I feel worse about this.
No,
I feel
because
much more strongly about stranger
you felt
fucking
the way
food
I
and
do.
drink than I do about running backs getting paid.
No, because Steven, I bet if you felt anything like I do, you're like, I don't care how many people
I'm
are
scared.
against me.
I'm scared how
like-
you feel because at this point it feels normal to you, and you don't know what's growing inside of you.
It is normal. It is.
It's wrong
The
though.
chicken
Wally,
was
I get it
delicious.
that you're.
It was delicious.
I get it. You're trying
It's like
this
people who
10,000
pick up-
step.
It's
all
like
this
people who pick
bullshit.
up roadkill and cook it. It's wrong. It's normal for
No,
them, but
no.
it's
Yeah,
wrong.
this was the equivalent
yeah.
of that scene in Waterboy when Henley Winkler's like, "Oh, what are we having for dessert?" And they're like, "Squirrel." That's you. You're the one saying squirrel, and you're happy about it.
If you could sell me on the fact that the reason I felt so hungover on Friday and Saturday was because I ate stranger chicken, I would be willing to at least listen. But because you haven't done that, I'm going to take as much food off of stranger plates as I can ever find at every restaurant I ever go to before or in the future.
Until next time, we're Loss of Down. I need to get the hell out of here.
I love you.
Shut your mouth,
Chicken
Wally.
at Texas Roadhouse is good.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
sure you, dude. And he was probably picking up peanuts off the ground and eating them too. Oh! Someone left one here. They didn't crack it all the way.
Hey, you're eating strangers' food. What if they dropped it on the ground and put it back on the plate? You're just fucking devouring it.
You ever seen the
Disgusting.
movie
I'd eat
Waiting?
it in front of them. I'd eat it in front of them.
Oh God, I hate you so much.
Love them cinnamon rolls. See you guys next week.
You are so gross.